انا عايزك كده تتخيل معايا لما يطلع مسؤول، معلش انا هضطر ان انا اتكلم في حتة الاديان دي، مسيحي بينتقد وبيمسح الارض بواحد من حركة او قائد من حركة فتح اللي موجودة في فلسطين اللي بتنتمي للسلطة الفلسطينية، يمسح الارض بمسؤول لبناني بسبب تخاذلهم في الدفاع عن القضية الفلسطينية. فهنا يعني والله العظيم ما لاقي كلام يشفي الصدر اكتر من الراجل قاله. اسمعوا لقاء في غاية الأهمية، شخص مسيحي بيدافع عن القضية الفلسطينية في حين ان المذيعة بتحاول بقدر الامكان تهاجم المقاومة الفلسطينية. طالما حضراتكم اسمعوا اللقاء وركزوا في الترجمة عشانها في غاية الأهمية، واسمعوا اللقاء ممتع جدا 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 بصراحة، هيعجبكم قوي. صلى الله عليه وسلم. حضراتكم مستر حاجة تابعوا اللقاء للنهاية.
There's no doubt that given the scale of destruction across the Gaza Strip, it was always going to be a complex task to retrieve the bodies of all the hostages taken during the October 7 attacks and return them to Israel. But that is exactly what Hamas signed on to, agreeing to do it within 72 hours. And yet it has failed to uphold that side of the agreement. And that has caused consternation across the border in Israel. Norman, are you surprised that this ceasefire is already looking shaky?
There are two things to say. Number one, I find it positively disgusting that you're framing this as a failure on the part of Hamas. Are you not aware, can you really not be aware that there are 50 million tons of rubble in Gaza? Are you not aware that according to the international humanitarian organizations, it'll take until the year 2050 to clear out the rubble in Gaza?
And yet Hamas knows
Now,
this
if Hamas
too, but they still agreed to it.
Excuse me. If Hamas says it can't find some of the bodies in the rubble, you're now blaming them for that? Can you possibly comprehend how outrageous a statement that is?
Okay.
And the fact that while we're all talking about the buried hostage bodies in Gaza, there are literally, conservatively, thousands of Palestinian bodies buried in Gaza. Are you not concerned about them as well?
It's not a zero-sum game. We can be concerned about both things at the same time.
Yeah, but you didn't mention the other bodies. Israel promised to lift the blockade of Gaza. Did it lift the blockade? No. Each time the international community said the blockade of Gaza was illegal and unsustainable. Did that stop Israel from continuing the blockade? No. And the events of October 7th were a direct result of this brutal medieval blockade of Gaza. There is no reason to suppose that this time Israel is going to even relax, let alone lift the blockade of Gaza.
If you now sit and calculate and think, listen, we lost 60 or 70,000 Palestinians dead in this war. We lost 53% of the territory, and all of this for what? To get 300 Palestinians out of prison? Does this look like a good cause and effect calculus to you? So all of these questions, Hamas is not asking. Hamas is only focused on keeping its arms. As long as this is the case, I'm afraid that we'll be stuck in phase one, and that'll be to the detriment of Gazans first and foremost.
May I ask the representative of the Foundation for the Defense of Washington's Slaves and Stooges, may I ask him a question? He
Go
seems
ahead.
to be so emphatic. He seems to be so emphatic, this representative of Washington's slaves and stooges. He seems to be so emphatic that Hamas has to disarm. Hamas killed approximately 1,200 Israelis, 800 of whom were civilians. That's what Israel, on average, did every week for the last 2 years. Right now, there's a consensus in the international community that it was not Hamas the past 2 years, it was Israel that was committing genocide in Gaza. It was Israel that killed not 30 children on October 7th, but at bare minimum, 20,000 children. So this representative
what's your question
of the
to Mr.
defense
Hussein
of,
Abu Hussein?
allow me to finish.
Yeah,
allow me
what's
to
the
finish.
question for him?
This representative of the defense of Washington's slaves and stooges.
Defense of democracy.
Why aren't you asking for Israel, who by international consensus was committing genocide in Gaza? Why aren't you asking for them to disarm, Mr. Slave and Stooge?
Okay.
So as Lebanese and Palestinians, we want Hamas to be disarmed long before the war in Gaza happened, long before October 7 happened. Now it just happens that all of us are aligned to see Hamas disarmed. This should not take from
Yeah, I
any
agree.
other debate
I
about the
agree with
region.
you. I agree with you. All the Arab slaves and stooges would like to see Hamas disarmed. I agree with that point. Israel just committed the genocide in Gaza, and you're blaming the whole thing on Hamas. And that's pretty disgusting.
I did not say that.
And
I
that's
thought you
pretty
understand
disgusting.
better English
And
than,
you are
than me.
And you
I'm the
are
one whose foreign language is English.
repellent reptile. You're a reptile. At that point, when it looked like the people of Gaza would be left to languish and die in that concentration camp, they launched the attack. Once the attack was launched and Israel retaliated with its genocide in Gaza, every Arab state colluded with the U.S. and Israel in order to see that the people of Gaza were crushed by the Israeli genocide. With the honorable exception of the Houthis, and at a lower level, the Hezbollah, every other leadership in the Arab world left Israel a free hand to murder the people of Gaza.